For this episode of In Their Own Words, we present the account of Dr. Howard Fisher. Dr. Fisher was traveling from the United States to France to help his brother-in-law establish a hospital. He was 49. Fisher had a first-class cabin and was traveling with his 25-year-old sister-in-law, Dorothy Connor, who had her own cabin. Dorothy was a Red Cross volunteer. They had just finished eating lunch when Lusitania was struck by a torpedo fired by the German submarine U-20. Dr. Fisher's account is detailed and harrowing. It provides a clear picture about what those aboard Lusitania experienced on the 7th of May, 1915. They were innocents caught in the tumult of an increasingly deadly world war. Please enjoy the account of Dr. Fisher, as narrated by Michael Poirier.
Friday, May 7th was a beautiful day. All trunks were ordered on deck by 10 p.m., so I told Dorothy I would pack mine in the morning and get it over with. The trunk was packed with some difficulty and delayed me so that I was late in getting to lunch. Dorothy and I had just finished eating our squab when bang! Came a rather dull sound like a soft blast, a very slight shock, in a few seconds, a listing of the ship to the side on which we were struck. Dorothy said, "What is that?" I replied, "That's what we came after, a torpedo. We must go on deck." Everybody rushed on deck, second cabin, third cabin, and came pouring forward, it seemed. Not an officer was in sight, and everything was in confusion. To say there was no panic is not the truth. Within 10 feet from where I stood, some people were trying to lower a boat. Men jumped on women and children trying to get into it. I would not let Dorothy try it, nor did she wish to. She behaved beautifully. It was fortunate, for there was no one who knew how to manage it, and the boat fell into the sea upside down, spilling and hurtling as it fell on those struggling in the water. A second boat was next tried, and the same thing happened. Only by miracle it righted itself, and so got away safely. These two were the only boats that were cast away from my side. No one tried a third. When I saw the boats were of no use, I posted Dorothy, then rushed below to get life belts. My cabin deck was already flooded, so I returned to the deck above, rushing here and there in the dark, for the electric lights had gone out, trying open cabins for a chance life belt left behind by its owner. I found one, and then in the topmost deck, I found a second one. The ship so badly listed that I had some trouble, but finally rushed up the stairway to be greeted by some devil who had tried to snatch one of my belts. He did not get it. In 5 minutes from the time we had our belts on, the water was at our feet, and I called Dorothy to jump for it. I slipped through the rail into the sea. Dorothy had to climb over it. It pays always to keep cool, so I said to myself as I went down. Now, if you can only keep your wind long enough, if nothing entangles you or strikes you, you'll be all right. I went down and down, twisted and turned like a bug in a whirlpool, always wondering if I could last it out. Once, I slid across a rope and pushed myself free from it to go still lower, and then I started upward as rapidly as I had gone down. I had nearly reached the surface, for the sunlight was strong enough through my closed eyes when someone grappled with me. Not wishing for a struggle, I sank again. It was a second only, and so came free to the surface, turned over on my back, got my wind, and struck out for an overturned boat some 25 yards away. I had a slightly bruised eye and 2 scratches, but they did not bother me in the least, and I have no idea where I got them unless I was kicked while under the water. The upturned boat had some 35 people on it before I left it. Had I known the old ship would go down so soon, Dorothy and I would have jumped sooner and so swam free from the suction. We stayed where we were because some officer passed word that the ship would right itself. From the time she was struck to her going down was just 18 minutes. How's that for your watertight compartments? On this old boat, there were 4 women. One with a broken collarbone and one man with an arm broken and nearly torn off. I got a seat on the side and sat with my legs in the water and the waves washing my waist. No hat, of course, and worst of all, my eyeglasses was sucked off and lost. An old tramp steamer finally came along and took us off our boat. It was very cold, and each little wave had washed higher than usual, was colder than the last one. The poor old tramp was hard up itself, for they were short of provisions and could only give us stale bread. However, we got warm in the dirty engine room, as there was no cabin. I went forward to the forecastle and joined the crew about an old stove. I found my pipe in my pocket, borrowed some tobacco, and sat down to think of you and Mother. We were 3 hours in the water and it seemed I would never get warm, and that we would never get back to Queenstown. I had to share my pipe with 2 dirty sailors from the Lusitania. When I reached the hotel, it was so late they could only give me a place on the floor near a fire. A drunken rescued man talked all night and kept everybody awake. Dorothy I found next morning upstairs in bed. She'd come in at about 10 p.m. while I got in at 1 a.m. Poor girl, she had had a narrow escape, and she's picked up unconscious. She's quite well now, though she has a little neuralgia. As for me, I had only contracted a bad nose cold. Neither of us, nor anyone else, saved a stitch of clothing, nor anything beyond what was on our person.
A special thank you to our supporters on Patreon, including Dean McIntosh, Evan Fleming, Lucas Sidlowski, Bluebird Nut, Martin Cahill, Sam Forker, Joshua Kusiak, Maximilian Metcalf, Nikki Chan 92, Rachel Warner Sanchez, and Snow Monkey.